Life is short, and being in radio can grind it to a halt. Influence FM is for running your stations at your convenience, when you want, where you want. With Influence FM, you can now do the impossible. Enjoy your life, all the while knowing that Influence FM will notify you instantly about any anomalies. And with the flick of a thumb, you can see that your station's assets and operations are running at full speed. Go ahead, take that vacation. We dare you. We sell freedom, not software. Free yourself to do, well, precisely what you want.
Welcome back. Some people don't come back for day 2 after that. Well, I promised you yesterday that today we would be talking about finding prospects, the good prospects, and where they are. So, let me start by asking you this question. What kind of people do you like dealing with? Now think about that and think about why you like dealing with this kind of person. What is it about them that makes you want to be close to them and work with them on an ongoing basis? Now, once you figure that out, the next thing you'll want to do is make up a profile of these people. I like dealing with people that deal with their hands. I like dealing with people who are professionals. I like dealing with people who are fun to be with. Come up with all that. And then I want you to come up with these. What is their single largest identifiable trait? Single largest identifiable trait. They're kind to animals. They're all business. They keep it short and sweet. That's mine, by the way. What does this person do in their spare time? One of my customers likes building boats in his spare time, and I like building them with him. And that's how the two of us bonded, because we build boats together and then we go kayaking. Who are their business friends and associates? And now what you see is the beginning of the branches that bring other people into focus. So now let's talk about how to get help for free. Look at this. There it is. Google should be your servant. It's your research assistant. But the trick is you have to know what question to ask. So today, we're going to talk about how to use your research assistant, named Google, and how to ask the questions. Because what we want to do is find your tribe. So here we go. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about an old poem. It's called The Road Less Traveled. And I'm not going to recite it to you because I'm not into reciting poetry. So look it up. The Road Less Traveled. Now, when you asked yesterday for the businesses that people said were the best ones at the station, they probably fit into certain business types, be they automotive or furniture or something of that nature. So now, I want you to think about the businesses that were not mentioned. I'm pretty sure nobody mentioned doctors or attorneys or accountants. So now, if they didn't mention those, you probably should pick up a Yellow Pages, because you're going to find those categories are some of the best bought ones in the Yellow Pages. People have kind of figured out over time that they don't like selling those, and the Yellow Pages or search engines get them by default. What types of businesses are not on your radio stations? Think about that a little bit. And tonight, when you're doing your homework, that'll be more important, to listen to the stations differently and say, all right, what do we got, but what do we don't got? And now I'm going to give you a little secret. If you go to the traffic director can tell you what categories are not on your stations. Okay? But that was a secret. All right, let's do this. Let's go to Google and bring up Google Maps. And in this case, we brought it up, and you'll see what I put in. I put accountant, Lewiston, Idaho. Accountant, Lewiston, Idaho. Now, I know Lewiston because I travel there from time to time. I work with a great group of radio stations up there. But I put this in, and I'm going to tell you, that, by the way, that little car there, that is the Google Street View car. They take pictures and really handy stuff. But I put an accountant in Lewiston, Idaho, and I find 10 accountants. I'll guarantee you, though, those are all in the Yellow Pages. They're all in Google, but I'll bet you not 2 of them are on a radio station in Lewiston, Idaho. So let's do a little math here and take a look. I've got 10 accountants in Lewiston, Idaho. Now, let's go with a very inexpensive radio schedule of just, $500 a month. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you do the right ads, and don't worry about that yet, we're going to get to that in week 2. If you do the right schedule, don't worry about that, we're going to get it in week 2. I'm going to guarantee you that you will sell 3 in 10. You pitch all 10 exactly the same, 3 of them are going to buy. Now, Let's say they just last 2.5 years on the station. It'll be longer than that, but let's say it's just 2.5 years. That's $45,000 in billing. And you can see that based on your commission plan, how much is yours of that cut. That's pretty significant. And I'm going to tell you something else. You're not going to have a whole lot of competition in this category because nobody else is selling them either. And then look, here's your assistant right here. Sue Brown and Associates, Google brought it up, gave you a map on how to get there, even showed you a picture of the building, so it's pretty hard to miss. Who are the good accounts? They're all good accounts. Here's another market I've worked in, Weirton, West Virginia. And what I did was I asked Google to give me metal fabricators in Weirton, West Virginia. There's a hot category, huh? But look at them all. These are people that take metal and make something out of it. Is there a use for this? Probably. More than likely, most of that is going to be on the wholesale level, but we'll talk about that in a little bit too, because radio does great on the wholesale level. So now let's take a look at the Yellow Pages. And I say, so who competes with them? We all do now, but Google especially. The Yellow Pages is a dying breed. Number one in the Yellow Pages, there it is, U-Haul. U-Haul spends, it says, about $15 billion. Did you get that? $15 billion a year in the Yellow Pages. Now, why would you go after U-Haul? I wouldn't. I would be saying, well, who competes with U-Haul? That's who I want to talk to. I don't want to talk to number one. I want to talk to number two and number three and number four. There's something different to tell there. What's right outside the front door? Now, here's another city I work in. This is called New Philadelphia, Ohio. And I said, well, what is right outside the front door of the radio station? So I put businesses on West High Avenue, New Philadelphia, Ohio. And I don't know if you can see all those little red dots on there, but there's a bunch of them all over the place. Those are businesses that are just up the street, walking distance. So let's go a little closer. See, because again, Google Maps, I'm zooming in. All right, I got all these businesses down here. Let's zoom in just a little further. Oh, look at this. I got the Daily Grind coffee shop. Okay, now let's go back to Google and ask it a question. Let's say, tell me about coffee in New Philadelphia, Ohio. And now look at all the places that compete for the coffee business in New Philadelphia, Ohio. Now all I have to do is come up with an advertising campaign that puts them up against who? Who's number one? Starbucks. Starbucks may not sell the most coffee, but in everybody's mind, Starbucks is the holy grail of coffee shops. So how do I go against them? I usually like going against price. If you don't want to pay $6.50 for a cup of coffee, I got someplace else for you to go. Remember, stay out of number one. Now, how do we know how much money is out there and where do people spend it? Well, we have something special in our fingertips. Look at this. This is from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. And here are the breakouts on just about everything people buy. And you can find this in some of your notes. It's also in the workbook. It gives you the percentages based upon the entire United States on what people spend on housing, on clothing, on entertainment. The entertainment one always baffles people. I'll just give you a little hint. Some people say, I don't spend that much money on entertainment. Well, lumped into there is your home cable service. Well, if you're spending $100, $150 a month on that, a lot of people are spending $200 a month on their internet and cable TV combined. $200, that's $2,400 a year. It's a lot of money. All right, but it's all in there. So it's at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So now you say, but okay, those are the percentages. How much money is in the market? Well, let's take a look at this. Now this is from the Census Bureau, census.gov, census.gov. And go to the quick facts about your market. Now this is one small town located in the market I work in, all right? We're in Mojave County, Arizona, and what we're looking at here is just Mojave County. I was going to look at Kingman, but we'll do that in a little bit here. In Mojave County, Arizona, there are 203,030 people. The per capita income, not the mean income, not the average income, per capita, is $20,725, which means that Mojave County has $4.2 billion in spending power. $4.2 billion. It's a lot of money. And then we add La Paz County, which is also in my area, and we come up with $4.6 billion. Now, how do people spend it? Well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics just showed us, but let's go ahead and divide it out. $102 million a year dining out. $251 million a year on entertainment. Look how much on housing. $1.5 billion on housing. And this includes the price of the house, the back patio furniture, the landscaping, everything that you spend on a house. Now, let's take a look at another market that I work in. This is Logan, Utah. This is all the pizza joints in Logan, Utah. And then we look at the fact that according to the Census Bureau and the Bureau of Labor Statistics combined together, we've got $112 million per year spent on dining out. All these pizza joints are vying for it along with every other restaurant. Now, some final thoughts for today before we get into the homework, which is going to be very involved, and I hope you've cleared the rest of your day. Take a look at some of these things. I'll give you a second to read them. These are the basics for a successful salesperson. And I don't care if you're selling radio, if you're selling houses, what you're selling. These are basic tenets of being a good salesperson. What would I do with this slide? I'd tear it out of the book and tack it on the wall in my bathroom. So when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm reminding myself what I need to be. All right, now the homework. And it's going to be a big night. First of all, I told you I want you to identify the kind of people you like working with and write 5 statements about this kind of person. Next, find the best sold categories in the yellow pages and make a list of the 10 of them. I'm going to give you a hint. Start with the attorneys, then the doctors, then the lawyers, then the chiropractors. You know, these are good areas to be in. Go to Google Maps. Don't get in your car. Gas is expensive. Why bother? So go to Google Maps and find 10 businesses in each category. Now, that's going to give you 10 categories with 10 businesses each, which is 100 businesses. You're going to have to track down your sales manager, so you might as well make time with him or her right now for later in the day and make sure that these aren't on somebody else's list. If they are, you're going to have to replace those because by tomorrow morning you need 100 prospects on your list. Now, if your company has a CRM system, fine. If you don't, use Google. Go to the Google Calendar, which is a free thing, and start getting your 100 in there and use that as your tracking system. It's going to be a long night. You're going to go through a lot tonight. Some people don't come back for day 3. Some people come back with their homework half done. This is 15 days and it's 15 very simple days, but it's 15 complicated days in terms of the amount of work. And from here we are just going uphill. There's a test also in your workbook and at influence.fm. Take the test. It'll automatically be sent to your manager and to us for review. And I hope to see you tomorrow morning, bright and early and ready for action.
Life is short, and being in radio can grind it to a halt. Influence FM is for running your stations at your convenience, when you want, where you want. With Influence FM, you can now do the impossible. Enjoy your life, all the while knowing that Influence FM will notify you instantly about any anomalies. And with the flick of a thumb, you can see that your station's assets and operations are running at full speed. Go ahead, take that vacation. We dare you. We sell freedom, not software. Free yourself to do, well, precisely what you want.